All right, hey, it's Paul from paulsolo.com. Sitting here, beautiful, beautiful sunset at Benja City Park. And today I want to tell you why I think Micheal Moore kicked a goal on his own team. You know, he kicked the goal into his own post, right? And scored the election for Donald Trump. Okay, so you look at the election, right? And Hillary was leading till the very end, right? It's pretty hard to deny that, right? It was like the last week. And Hillary is now being interviewed, and she's saying that it was the FBI's fault. Comey, you know, he brought the emails up again, and there wasn't enough time to like change, and that was what caused her to lose the election. And other people were saying other things, but basically, it's the kind of situation where you have like two teams that are basically running. She's running ahead, right? Then it's like then at the end, the other team just reaches over the goal line and wins, right? And why did that happen? Why did it happen? I think. Okay, if you look at the election, Micheal Moore. Who's Micheal Moore? Micheal Moore he's the what do you call it? Like, he's the champion of the auto worker in the Rust Belt states. So look at where he came from. His Fahrenheit 911 and all his books and movies, they all cater to this one very specific niche. This is the exact niche that turned the election, right? These are the guys who suddenly voted for Trump. And what I think happened was, okay, he's kind of a has-been, somewhat of a has-been, right? He's kind of out of it. You know, he's been out of the public eye for a long time, right? But suddenly, when this election happened, you saw him a week before the election, and he was being interviewed. And what he was saying is that you guys don't understand. You don't understand. Like, Trump's going to win. Trump's going to win. You guys, we have to do something. Trump's going to win. He kept saying that. And you know, whenever you try to do something in life, there's the unintended consequences, right? You're trying to do one thing, but something else can happen, right? Like your actions have implications; they have consequences, right? What he did, and of course it wasn't on purpose, but what he did was, anybody who knows that guy, he is the expert. He is the expert on these auto workers. Like that's his whole career. It's like communicating with them. They buy his books. He talks to them. They write emails to him. You know, I mean, this is his constituency essentially, right? So when Micheal Moore said Donald Trump's going to win, everybody was shocked. Like but the problem is, like, for the Democrats, is nobody knew what to do with that information. He didn't have any answers. He didn't say, like, in the Harvard Business Review had a great article today that said basically the difference between the working class and the poor, and how Hillary ignored the working class, and she was like giving minimum wage and things to the poor. You know, Obamacare to people without a job, but she wasn't working on the people who were paying taxes. And she was, so basically what I'm saying is, yeah, I'll put the link below, you can read it. It's a great article, actually. Whether you agree with it or not, they have specific things that the Democrats could have done to change things. But what Micheal Moore did was, he just said, hey, you guys, we're going to lose. And everybody was freaking out. It's like if you're swimming out in the ocean and someone tells you this is like a heavily shark infested area, right? And your boat just sunk and you have the night out of the sea, right? There's nothing you can do about it. You're just sitting out there going, man, I knew there were sharks out here, but man, now I know there really is sharks out here. But there's nothing you can do to protect yourself. The Democrats were frozen. Nobody had any new ideas, and Micheal Moore didn't have any new ideas. But what happened on the other side? On the other side was the Donald Trump supporters. I honestly think Donald Trump supporters didn't know they're going to win. Nobody knew they were going to win. Everybody second guesses it, right? Everybody knows afterwards, right? We knew stocks were going up. We knew the economy was going to crash, right? You know, but in reality, very few people know what's happening in the future, right? And the Donald Trump supporters, I think they were just felt like he was lucky to get this far. You know, I know a lot of they were just like, hey, he's still going, right? You know, he's not out yet. You know what I mean? Like, he's not out. You know, that was the feeling, right? Nobody thought like he's actually going to beat Hillary and be the president. Like, that wasn't even like, my friends that were supporters, they were just proud of it going this far. But when they heard Micheal Moore, it's almost like a testimonial, like if you're selling a product, right? And you have a really fat guy who gets really skinny, like that's a super powerful testimonial, right? Micheal Moore is the opposite of a Trump supporter, okay? So when Micheal Moore says you're gonna win, and Micheal Moore is an expert on the people that are gonna be the key people to turn the election, the Trump people became very excited. The Hillary people basically were like, okay, geez, where we get, you know, like, this is serious now. Micheal Moore is saying it, but nobody knew what to do. But the Trump supporters, it was like, you know, those football movies when they have the coach and he's like, he gives him this thing, it's only 20 yards, you know? And you know those speeches, you can go on YouTube and search football halftime speeches, there's a bunch of them, and you're crying at the end of them, and he's just like, it's so powerful, and you feel like, I've only got a few more minutes, I've only got a few more yards, I just got to do it for this end. And the Trump supporters, that's what Micheal Moore's speech was to them. It was this kind of thing, is you guys, we're going to win. And all we got to do is hang on a little farther and go a little harder. So Micheal Moore, trying to help Hillary, actually sunk the election. I truly believe. I remember when I was in high school, I played basketball. And one time I got the ball, and I was like so stoked. There was no one in front of me. I drove to the rim. I did a nice layup. I was all proud of myself. And then I looked around and I realized I scored against my own team. That's why there was no defense, right? It's because I scored against my own team, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a guy who inadvertently galvanized the competition, and they went over the line at the very end, because that's just when he made his move. The emails spare me. The emails, everybody knew about the emails. In fact, I think the emails actually hurt Trump, because I know the Trump supporters, they got super excited about the emails, and then all of a sudden it passed out. It was like right before the vote, he said, okay, she's not going to be charged. So like that actually, I think, worked against Trump actually. So, but Micheal Moore was a different story, and you got to think about your actions in life, right? And I think if I was Micheal Moore, you know, this is not pro or negative, either anybody. I just think this is the way the game went. If I'm the coach watching this game, this is what I think. This is what I think how it happened. I watched everything to the very end, and I was just like blown away that he was saying that, because I sell products myself, and if I had a testimonial of somebody who hated me but said Paul is super good, you guys don't take him seriously, but this guy's awesome, that would be the best testimonial, because it's the most believable, you know, because it's not somebody supporting you. If Trump says he's great, nobody believes it, right? You know, it's like, oh yeah, whatever, you know, he always says that, right? But if somebody who hates him says he's great, that's different, right? Or his support is great and he's going to win, he's going to beat you. And so he was I think there's a lot of consequences, and I'd love to hear what you think. So subscribe to the channel down there below, the red button. And signing off from Bangkok on a beautiful evening with a couple of my buddies here, cruising around. And thanks for watching the video.